Good morning. Such a beautiful morning. Ooh. What poem to share this morning? Where are we? 26th of February, I think. And what to say? What to say? What's going on in the world? I actually cannot keep up with all the fear that's being put out. I'm really not quite sure that I can accept a man who's got enough money to end all the poverty and sickness in the world is saying he wants to help global warming. And yeah, I've read and heard of some of the plans of ballooning up. I'm not quite sure what substance he's planning to tip out from high heights to cool the planet. But come on, people, wake up, wake up, wake up. We have to turn back to altruistic ways of living naturally in harmony with our earth, with our planet, with the universe, with the God. I mean, perhaps we need to go back to the lunar calendar to be in harmony with the seasons and the planetary movements. We certainly need to go back to growing more of our own food, having more green spaces, having gardens for all members of the family, for children and for the older people. We need to consider everybody. And life doesn't exist through screens. I know I'm sitting here recording this now through a screen, and yes, it's amazing the things that we can do now. And I suppose after a year of lockdown, I've succumbed to going on Zoom calls. But, life is in the real world, isn't it? It's where it's tangible. I mean, if we think about it, we might as well not bother being born into a human body. We might as well just stay in the ether and, send our thoughts flying around there without having to press buttons on Facebook. It's like, everybody knows what to do. Everybody's telling everybody what to do. Everybody knows what the solution is up on Facebook. Yeah, actually, come on down into the real world. Plant some trees, get your fingers dirty, do some gardening, grow some foods, grow some flowers. Let's make this world a beautiful place. We have that capability. And, why are we waiting for... who are we why are we waiting to be told what to do and told what the answer is? And all the disputes about the V word. I mean, is it really the answer? Is that really going to cure the sickness of this world? Is injecting something into us going to stop the pollution? Is it going to stop the chemicals? Is it going to stop Monsanto spraying the bees? And how come that everybody knows that spraying chemicals and killing the bees is a dreadful thing, and yet the governments allow it? I don't know. How many times do we sign petitions? I've been asking this question recently. I remember in my primary school, somebody talking about the movement of live animals, and certainly, did I sign a petition then? Maybe we were too young. I know that when I was young, in my teens, I remember signing a petition about stopping the movement of live animals. And here we are, how old am I now? 30, 40 years later, it's still the same things going on. There's still the same things going round and round. Just email after email after email for this cause, and donate for this and donate for that. And actually, I don't do online banking, so because I can't, I'd be broke. I'd have signed and supported every petition out there, but it'll still be going around in 10 years' time, won't it? Unless we make some changes in the world. we have to make those changes, and we have to say no. This is not acceptable, and we need to take responsibility for our own health and well-being as well. And look at the ingredients. I mean, I've just had tea out of my thermos flask, which I've made at home with just tea and milk. I'm not really a coffee drinker because I'm pretty sensitive to caffeine. Having been a coffee addict for many years, I have it as a treat now. But when you look at these mass chains of what's in their drinks that they are selling, and everybody's walking around with a cup in their hand as if it's a trophy. And actually, when you need to have coffee to go for a walk, you're in adrenal fatigue. If you need coffee to do everything that you do, it's a sign of exhaustion. And we're in a world that's so dependent on stimulants because everybody's exhausted. And I'll say thank you for lockdown, because I probably wouldn't be sat here watching this beautiful sunrise this morning if it wasn't for lockdown. And I've had to come down the other end of the beach now because it's getting a bit busy down the other end. They're putting up some more parking spaces, so that's good. Let's hope that they're not going to charge for them and invest in meters to charge people, because there's a lot more things that need doing to spend money on. And certainly all the drainage and everything here where we are, the drains are very blocked. But we need to look after things, don't we? We can't just take things for granted, and it's not until they're gone that we realise, like, oh, okay, that wasn't so bad after all. Let's look after each other, and let's look after our towns and cities and homes and gardens and everything that we can, and not expect everyone else to do it, not expect others to do it. We're lucky that we have great support systems here, and the councils do a great job of clearing away our rubbish, but we need to reduce the rubbish too. We need to stop those plastics, we need to stop those single use. So I'm doing my little bit today. I've got my thermos, and don't know what poem. I've got a poem here called Mud, which that's inspired by the Geiger Bay mud issue that was in 2018. So we were protesting to say, please stop dumping the mud from the nuclear power station Hinkley Point, where they were digging out. Some people said that the mud that they were digging, had been there for years and probably did have nuclear contamination. What do we know? But I expect a lot of money was involved, and just where I'm going now. So apparently there's a dumping ground 1 mile from Cardiff Bay, which is just over there, and it's a dumping ground, and that's where it was going to. So we protested because in the report that I read, it was considered safe to dump at sea, and I would say that actually 1 mile off Cardiff coast and in between Weston and Cardiff isn't really at sea. It's Bristol Channel isn't really a sea, is it? So I'll read that poem today, because I really think we've got to stop the excessive chemicals and the awful diseases that they cause. In nuclear contamination, we're looking at leukemias and cancers. Are they rife in the world? In fact, are they more prevalent than coronavirus? I would say that they are. But do we stop the causes? Do we shut down the world because people are dying of cancers, which we know the causes of? We know many, many causes of cancer, and pollution is a massive one. Yeah, as are the chemicals that are sprayed in the chemtrails, which are huge conspiracy theory. But actually, look at the effects of what they spray. The aluminium that affects the brain, shuts down memory. We get an Alzheimer's epidemic announced years ago. Okay. Do 1 and 1 make 2? Another chemical that's in the chemtrails causes bone cancers. Are we seeing bone cancers a lot? Do 1 and 1 make 2? And then another one with bromium, I think it is, raises blood pressure. It wasn't that long ago that everybody who went to the doctor was being put on 2.5 grams of ramipril. Why? Do 1 and 1 make 2? It's not a case of whether it's a conspiracy theory or not. It's a case of, well, what's the truth? What's the facts? And what's the effect? What effect is it having? And if we look around us, people are very, very, very sick. And that's not how we're meant to be. That's not how God, who is love, expects us to be. Because love doesn't hurt another. It doesn't do something that gives consequences that make people sick and ill. With healthy organic living and good support and all the emotional and psychological factors that are love, they make us strong. They make our immune system strong. They make our mind strong. It gives us hope. It gives us faith and certainty that life is good and safe and secure and peaceful and happy. The fruits of the Spirit, the love, joy, faith, goodness, mildness, kindness, patience, self-control, not to sin, hurt, abuse another, and to put nuclear waste in the sea is abusing the sea life. If it gets washed in, it's abusing us. If it's making people sick, if it's giving children cancer, that's abuse, isn't it? It's not conspiracy theory. That's 1 and 1 make 2. 2 and 2 make 4. But we need to dig a little bit deeper and see, what is the effect? What is the effect? What's the effect on the human being, on the life form? Anyway, mud, not glorious mud. Nothing quite like it for killing our blood. So follow me, follow down to the hallows, so we don't have to wallow in toxic live mud, not glorious mud. Why waste lives with live waste matter? Obviously the hippopotamus song in mind there with that poem, and so we have to love and care for each other, for our environment, for our family, for our children, for our schools. And money's the false prophet. It's the altruistic, working towards the greater good for all. That's what the prophets say. And life is beautiful for everybody. You don't need to have the divisions. And everybody's worthy. And if everybody contribute too, we need to all be able to contribute something good to society. So have a wonderful day. Thinking of my poem, the end is the beginning. The end is the beginning of the word endorphin. The end of the quest for heart smiles in love, mimicked by opium posing as opiates, addictive, seductive, seducing, the lie. The end, ending the cortisols crying for the end. The end, the release of the endorphin, the dopamine, the serotonin, the oxytocin, the anandamide, binding our blood in marriage with love, which is always positive. The endorphin is the end. The end is the beginning of the word endorphin. His love in our blood. The end is the beginning of freedom. The end is the beginning of his promise, for look, I am making all things new. Revelation 21, and he will wipe out every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more. Neither will mourning, nor outcry, nor pain be any more. The former things have passed away. And the one seated on the throne said, "Look, I am making all things new." So love is not a cortisol stress hormone. Life is not a cortisol stress hormone. Peace is not a cortisol stress hormone. Stress hormones are actually anti to Christ. They're anti to the Christ blood. That autonomic nervous response in us triggered, which our world is fueled by every time you're taking a stimulant, caffeine, cocaine. It's creating the adrenaline, and the adrenaline is the false. It's the false feel good, and it shuts down the frontal brain cortex and thinking ability, the ability to reason. And what we need to do is to be able to trust and have faith that life will be good anyway, have the time to be able to enjoy going for runs, going for walks, cycling. And we need to conquer that fear response and change the adrenaline and cortisols to the endorphins, which is it's a mind change, which creates a physiological change, and it's a different way of life, which gives the fruits of the Spirit: the love, joy, faith, kindness, peace, happiness, connectedness, unity, community, all the things that really we want. So yeah, time to stop being Gollum man. Time to come out of that fear and wake up to the beautiful, beautiful conscious love that we are all capable of. Everyone is capable of it. So trust. Find the beautiful joy in every moment of every day. And Jesus Christ is returning and bringing this for healing all nations and heaven on earth, as it's designed to be. But we have to make that choice. It won't just happen. We are the vessel for the Holy Spirit to dwell. Our body is the temple for love to dwell. And if we know that love is not a cortisol stress hormone, then we know that we're not in love. We're not in that state of being of love. Then there's lots of things we can do to change that fear. So lots of wonderful hands-on therapies, things that we can do for ourselves, points that we can hold. So learning actually what our body is capable of, because our body is capable of so much. And we just have to know where. So even our hands, there's so many reflex points on our hands that we can work to help soothe aches and pains, headaches, common ailments, soothe the nervous system. And yeah, I'll be posting up some of these techniques soon. So to help us feel good in our body for a wonderful life. Because God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son. So he wants us to love this world, and whilst we have that forgiveness for when we get things wrong, we need to learn, turn around, change. Never was Jesus' sacrifice intended to allow sin to continue. Never was it allowed to keep people in sin. No. We must learn from the pain that the sin causes and overcome and change. Just as in the twinkling of an eye, as promised. Change our nervous system, which changes the blood, which changes the emotional pattern of the water in our bodies, because the Spirit bears witness in the blood and the water. And maybe now we can add to that the nervous system. And that's how we have been made. We are designed to work with, by and in God's moral love, the ethics, the righteous. And whether you have faith, whether you have religion, I think everybody knows what's right and wrong. And it's that righteousness for justice, for peace, for a quiet conscience, for us to all live together, happily, peacefully, helping each other. And why not? God bless.